Hey, what's up guys? Tim here. So I wanted to do a video about the CRKT Swindle. It's a knife that's been out for a while, but it's a knife that I've used and carried for a bit, and it's a good knife. So I thought I'd do a video about it. So uh, yeah, where to begin? Let's see. Yeah, this is a Ken Onion design. This is in line with his sort of gentleman's tactical folders, I believe he likes to call it. The other one was the CRKT Ripple. So first things first, I think what's most noticeable or most prominent about this knife is the blade shape. Well, the entire knife actually is quite different from what you would normally see, but most notably the blade shape is reminiscent of that of a swayback jack, which I did not know until I think a couple people mentioned that in previous reviews. It might have been practically every day, Aaron. And yeah, it's got this kind of modified Warncliffe blade that's kind of sweeping upwards, and the handle kind of sweeps in the opposite direction, sort of. So it's got this very interesting look to it, very elegant actually. And the overall look of the knife is quite simplified. So there's not too much going on other than the different pocket clip and whatnot. But overall, very elegant design, I think. But yeah, getting back to the blade, 3.2 inches, hollow ground. It's 8 CR14 MOV, I believe, and yeah, it's not obviously not the best deal, but this is a kind of more affordable budget knife. Not really budget, but not very expensive knife, and yeah, it's I guess a knife you would use for kind of light to medium cutting chores, and I think would do just fine with that steel. You're not going to do any major stuff with this. Yeah, I got some jimping on the spine, very effective, and the spine is rounded as well, which is very nice, very in line with the sort of gentleman's folder look. Makes it a bit more sleek, elegant, like I said before. This knife is running on IKBS, which is interesting. It has the IKBS logo right there, as you can see. But what's interesting is that the bearings are not the bearings are encapsulated. They're not kind of sitting there free in the pivot. They're caged bearings, which is interesting because I always thought IKBS was the non-caged bearings. And I haven't personally taken apart this knife, but I have seen pictures of it, and I used a flashlight to look inside of the pivot, and you can see the kind of, I believe they look like brass. They might be brass, kind of caged, washers that are holding the bearings in place. If you've ever, messed with an IKBS knife, you know what I'm talking about. But with that said, the action of this knife is awesome. It flips like a rocket. Just you pull back on the flipper and pow, it just flies out. So it's really nice. I mean, for the money that you're paying, I think I got this. I think the street price on this is about $40 or so. I'm not sure, but it's cheap. It's around that range. Yeah, the action is really nice for what you're paying for, and it's got a very strong detent, which aids in building up that tension, so you get the nice deployment, and just flips open every time. You do have to flip this more like the light switch style. You can't really press on it. It doesn't work that way. You gotta pull back, and it does have a bit of slight jimping right there on the tang of the flipper, so it works perfectly. It just flips out. Really fun knife to play with, just fondle and use, of course. So moving on to the handles, yeah, very straight handles. This is not titanium, unfortunately. It would have been awesome if it was titanium, but that would jack up the price, of course. But yeah, bead blasted smooth, stainless steel or some form of steel. What did the website say? Yeah, steel, 2 CR13 stainless steel, and that does add to the weight of this knife. But overall, this is not a very large knife, so it's not overly weighty, but it's got a good weight to it. If you have a, sometimes I find when knives are just too light, it doesn't it just doesn't feel as substantial. But yeah, I think it's got a decent, manageable, very manageable weight to it. So yeah, frame lock, um, quite thin, but it's a very slim profiled knife. So yeah, handles, I think they hold up quite well to wear. Actually, I've carried this quite a few times, and not a whole lot of scratches or anything have come up on this. Now the pocket clip is one of the most interesting things on this knife. It's got this kind of spring-loaded clip that kind of clips on the, because normally you might have the clip on the side and that clips on the outside of your pocket. It still does the same, but it just clips differently in that. And also it can kind of switch to left and right side, so it is an ambidextrous clip. And it's got some knurling here on this pin that you use to kind of pull up on it when you slide it in your pocket and let go. And also when you remove it from your pocket, you kind of do the same. You kind of pull it, or actually I think you could just yank it, and because it's spring loaded, it'll kind of come out easily. So that's kind of pretty well thought out, the fact that there's the knurling on here. And it does work. It does take a little bit of getting used to because it's quite different from your normal pocket clip where you just slide it in and out. This, you do have to make the conscious effort to lift the clip up, put it in your pocket, let go. But yeah, after getting a bit more used to it, it's fine. It works just fine. There's a bit of jimping on the back here. I don't know if it's like maybe for reverse grip, but I don't think most of us, it is very comfortable in reverse grip, but most of us don't really use this grip. But because the pocket clip is on the top here, there is no, you don't feel it at all, right? It's a very ergonomic knife, very comfortable in hand. You can squeeze it tight. You don't really get any hot spots, but obviously you're not going to do any heavy cutting chores with this. Yeah, overall very nice knife. There's that the slightest amount of belly to it, just a little bit, and it does have a very fine point, so you can use it to pierce any packages, do whatever other cutting you need to be done. Yeah, very smooth action because of the IKBS. And overall, I don't have any real problems with this knife, except for just a couple little things. It's minor nitpicking. Well, this first one is nitpicking because the knife, when mine in handle, there's a bit of play there. So you see when I move it, there's a bit of play when the knife is set inside the handle. But that's not a big deal, for a $40 or so knife, you can't expect perfect fit and finish. And oh yeah, and also the blade, when you have it closed, it's completely hidden away inside the handle, and I really like that. It really adds to the sleek and simple design, or some kind of minimalistic look of the knife, which I really enjoy. And the other slight issue I had was the lockup. So as you can see, I just flipped it open, and it's about, I think it's about at almost 100%. Like the frame, it was not at 100% when I first got it. It was maybe about like right there at 25%. But as I played with it, the lock began to creep over, and if I flick it really hard, sometimes it goes all the way over. Or if I put a bit of positive pressure on the blade, it moves it. You probably can't see it from that far away, but might insert a close up. So see, now the lockup is all the way almost over. I don't think it's touching the other side yet, but it is almost like past 100%. It's not a big deal because the lockup is still solid. No, well, maybe just the slightest hair of up and down, but it's not major. I'm really nitpicking at that point. And there's nothing really wrong with the lock creeping over, but it does make it a little bit harder to disengage the lock. I have to actually use my thumbnail to get in there and push it over, or I gotta do this method where you use your index finger, do that, and close it. So yeah, not a big deal. I don't know, I might email CRKT and see what they have to say about that. But the knife is still functional, still locks up fine, still deploys great. That's about it. Yeah, overall, very nice knife. I would definitely suggest checking it out if you like Ken Onion's designs, or this sort of more kind of slim, minimalistic design of knife. I really enjoy. I did enjoy carrying this for a while. I haven't been carrying it lately, but when I first got it, I did carry it for a good week, and maybe a bit on and off there. But it's a very nice knife. So just for a bit of comparison, here it is next to the other Ken Onion designed CRKT Ripple, the other Gentleman's Tactical. So that's there. I did stonewash this blade, by the way, so it looks pretty cool now. There's that next to there. And just for the hell of it, it's next to my large 21 micarta Sabenza. There you go. So yeah, it's got a adequate blade length, I think, especially for my liking, and yeah, overall just a really nice knife to carry. You know, it's quite different, unique, and interesting. It's not doesn't really look like the typical kind of knife you would see, you know, a pocket knife. I mean, when you have the blade in the handle, it doesn't almost even look like a knife, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's a great knife. So I think that's everything I need to say. That's the CRKT Swindle. I hope you guys like my kind of talk about it, and I guess I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.